Good afternoon, thanks for joining us right here on Midday Kentucky. June is Pride Month in America, everyone. So we decided today, right here at ABC 36, to have a panel completely dedicated to the LGBTQ community here in Lexington. And with me today are some of our famous leaders in the community. We have Reverend Marsha. How are you, my darling?
Wonderful, thanks for having me.
Nice to see you back on the show. Of course, we have, and of course you are from the Bluegrass United Church of Christ. I should have said that as well. Tuesday Meadows, the co-chair of Lexington Fairness and vice chair of Lexington Pride Festival. How are you, my friend?
Great.
Nice to see you. Josh Mears. Now, we've had Josh on the show many times as well. Lexington Fairness chair and commissioner of human rights for LFUCG. I'm going to get back to that. I want to know what that stands for. Thanks for being on the show,
Thanks
my
for
friend.
having us.
And our good friend John Parker, executive director with AVOL, or AIDS Volunteers, as some of you also know. How are you, my friend?
Excellent, thank
Great
you.
to see
Good
you
to
all.
see you.
Thank you for coming. Before we get into it, I wanted to ask you all, what does pride mean to all of you? John?
I think it's an opportunity for us to stand up tall and let our voices be heard and be proud of who we are and help others learn about the LGBT community.
Yeah. What about you, Tuesday?
You know, I was in the closet for a long time, and pride means I get to be myself. And that's extremely important to me, and I believe everybody.
Yeah, I think it's really important for everyone to see diversity as well. Josh, of course, you were locally just running for office. What does it mean for you, and what did you hear out there in the community?
Well, you know, pride for me is about celebrating the diversity and the welcoming nature of our city and our great community. It's about honoring those that have fought before to achieve some of the basic equality rights that we have. And it's about providing for the next generation examples of this is how a community can come together and be one and be proud of who they are, who they love, and what we can accomplish as a community.
You just gave me goosebumps, mister. Very good. True politician.
Absolutely.
Reverend Marsha, I have been to your church many times now on Sundays. I think you do a wonderful job. And I want to ask you a slightly different question. Why is it important for your church to have the stance that it does and invite all races, all sexualities into your church? Because it's diverse.
It's very diverse. In fact, I say to folks, you can't come in the door on any Sunday morning and throw a dart and not hit a diverse population.
Yeah.
And it's very important for us because, like Tuesday, it's sort of personal to me. I was kicked out of my church at age 28 when they found out that I was a lesbian. It was very hurtful because I was very involved in church, and for 7 years I didn't go to church. I found an affirming church here in town that gave me a different perspective, and I think it's very important because there are so many people who've been rejected and deeply, deeply hurt by church. And so we do our best to welcome the doors and to offer folks a different way of seeing church. It's very hard because there's still folks that are, I say, sort of like a dog or a cat going into a veterinarian. They're like, yeah, no, I don't want any part of this. But
Yeah.
we continue to try to be that presence here.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I wanted to start the show off with that and something else that is pretty serious, some very serious news that happened yesterday, everyone. We found out that Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring from the Supreme Court on July 31st this year, everyone. Take a listen to a report from CNN.
In a move that could set in motion a seismic shift to the right on the highest court in the land, Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring after more than 30 years on the bench. Kennedy has never liked being labeled the court's swing vote, but for years it has been his vote that has often decided the outcome of cases in a closely divided court.
Thank you for coming to witness this historic occasion.
Kennedy, a Ronald Reagan appointee,
I, Anthony Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
was sworn in 1988.
I shall honor the Constitution.
He sided with his conservative colleagues on issues such as gun control and voting rights. He authored the majority opinion in Citizens United, striking down election spending limits for corporations.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And in Bush v. Gore, he helped clear the way for George W. Bush's presidency. But to the dismay of those on the right, Kennedy joined the liberals on the court on abortion, affirmative action, and the death penalty. His most lasting legacy will likely be in the area of gay rights. In 2015, Kennedy penned a landmark opinion, clearing the way for same-sex marriage nationwide.
They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law, and the Constitution grants them that right.
Anthony Kennedy grew up in a conservative Catholic family in Sacramento, California. But there was something that offended him from the very beginning about discrimination against gay people. And his principal legacy on the court will be as the father of constitutional protections for gay rights and for marriage equality in the United States.
But Kennedy this term tried to strike a balance between gay rights and religious freedom.
Everyone deserves the cake.
When he wrote the majority opinion, siding with a Colorado baker who refused to make a custom wedding cake for 2 gay men. In his opinion, Kennedy acknowledged the baker's sincere religious beliefs that motivated his objection, but warned against the broad use of religion to justify denying same-sex couples goods and services, writing, "Any decision in favor of the baker would have to be sufficiently constrained."
There was a lot more story going on, but I thought this part of the report was really crucial to what we're discussing today. Sigh of breath from you.
Absolutely.
I was emotional. I read and watched so many reports about it last night. You know, I come from a country where, you know, they don't really care whether you're gay or not. They really don't. So I've never had to be challenged until I moved here. But I'm on a different platform because I'm on TV. So I see different people all the time. What do you say when you see this, guys? And girls, I should say.
I'm just a little bit defeated. And I know I have to take a deep breath and get my land legs back to join colleagues in the battle, but I didn't sleep well last night worrying about what that's going to mean. And I especially get, and we may talk about that later, very upset when religious freedom is used to deny the LGBT community their civil rights.
I want to talk to you about this, being transgender as well. A big issue for you.
Yes.
Talk to me about it.
You know, here's the thing about it, Troy. People don't realize that this affects me as much as it does anybody else. You see, you know, you hear people say same-sex marriage, but it's really not. It's marriage equality. Something people don't realize, and maybe even my colleagues here don't realize, up until 2001, if I changed my gender on my birth certificate, which I have already done, that my wife, who I love dearly, who passed away in 2015, we was married 39 years, up until 2001, the state of Kentucky would have forced me to divorce her before I could change my gender. Can you imagine forced divorce? Is that where we're going back to? Are we going back to that for these people who are all married to the loves of their lives? Are we going to do that? I don't know what the end game is here, and that's why they're scared. Is that what our state wants to do? To have us, to force us into a situation where we can't be married to the person that we love? And like I say, she was the love of my life, and she always knew who I was, always, even when I was in the closet.
Tuesday, we're going to come back to this because we've just got to go to a break. We'll be right back after this short break, everyone.